You like the overall size of the Blackout map? If you had to make one change in design, what would it be? Says Etherus with a $15 donation. That's a good question. That's a good question. Do you like the overall size of the Blackout map? If you had to make one change, what design would it be?
I love being the best. Welcome to the Champions Club.
I'd say maybe the weakest part of the map is if you were to look at it. Well, let's bring it up.
I love being the best.
Let's bring it up. Jesus. I just... There it is. Boom.
Welcome to the Champions Club.
I think the weakest part of the map, and when I say weakest, I think, so overall, I'm very impressed. Like this is me being picky. Okay, this is me being picky. This entire side, right here, not enough variation for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Now, I say that just looking at one map only, okay? One map only in the pool. Like if this was the map and this is the only map for Call of Duty Black Ops 4 for the Blackout mode, and this is the one map that we are given for the rest of its shelf life, this would be like a problem for me. Is this area overall? I think it's too samey. It's like...
I love being the best.
It's kind of, there's not much going on. You got 3 points of interest and a whole bunch of hills and rocks and little shacks and stuff. And it takes up a huge part of the landscaping, right? And I'm not sure how to improve it. I'm not saying like, hey, I have the answer. This is what you do. I would just look at this section and figure out how we can spice it up just a little bit, right? Whether it's interacting with stuff over the river a little bit more, building a big town across Rivertown, right? Maybe making this, like, I feel like this point of interest, I feel like this could be a bigger point of interest, especially being between Rivertown, the tower, factory, and turbine. Like this is smack dab, almost in the middle of Asylum 2, right? This place, it would be pretty solid, man. Like it would have been cool. So here's one idea. It would have been cool if this turbine building or the fiction behind it, like they built it, the fiction, they built it like let's say this direction is west, you know, like that's west. Like this structure was built even farther and maybe built towards the river. So like it's extended. So this place is like one huge facility that extends right into the river. All right. That would kind of split this section in half. I don't know. I'm just speaking out loud here.
I love being the best.
I think this area is pretty interesting because there's a lot of verticality, especially right up here, the north side, overlooking the dam, overlooking like the train station. This bridge is pretty dangerous. This bridge is pretty dangerous. I like the interactions of what's happening down here or up here. And I do like the interactions, the combat that happens through this town, because a lot of the times the circle winds up on this southeast part. So people are rotating from Rivertown, Tower, firing range. You know, they're trickling all the way down from the northwest. And usually they have to go through this choke point, essentially. So that's why I think there's an opportunity with this choke point to really spice it up. Rather than it just be a whole bunch of houses on the river, maybe this becomes like a bigger facility of some sort.
Welcome to the Champions Club. love being the best. I love being the best.
I think this hydro dam, it's not a fun place to play in. And I think part of it is, well, I think there's two parts to it. Number one, I think the layout of some of these bigger facilities, like people don't like these big, huge open warehouses. I know I don't, right? We like the towns. We like the little houses you go in and out of, right? Firing range, you know, the little shacks, boom, boom, boom. Like everything happens real quick and you can get out of situations. Like you can make an impact real quick, go in, hide somewhere or move around the map. Boom, dead, boom, dead, dead. This hydro dam area, like these big ass warehouses, like you land on the top and it's just a long staircase, right? Then it's a big open area, maybe some medium range fighting. And then it's after you kill that guy, it's like, where's the loot? You go outside, big long decking. So I think part of the hydro dam for me is just the layout of these buildings, number one. And then number two, you land up here, there's not really a hot area to go from there, you know? That's if you're interested in consistent combat. This is more of a try hard drop. Like I'm trying hard to win this game. Go over here, maybe kill one guy, get looted up, maybe go south, maybe check out Asylum. If it gets too risky, it's too hot, then you know, I could play it in the desert, hit up some of these shacks. I don't know. I feel like Hydro Dam is a little bit too far out of the picture. Bring it up. I'd say bring it up to like right here. Bring this whole main spot to like right here, man. This place, you guys know this. This is where like the white, like it's like a white town. All the buildings are white. The walls white, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just like, it's those 6 houses. And there seems to be a lot of action here. I love the canyon view from in front of the construction site. So like if you're in one of these houses, you're usually engaging in people in the forest that are like right over here, right? And then sometimes you're getting shot from the construction site. But there's something about there's something magical about this area. However, I feel like these 6 houses can be spiced up just enough to complement what happens in this area. You know what I mean? Like I feel like this could be a bigger point of interest.
I love being the best.
Not sure what they could do. I don't have the solution. I think one thing that does annoy me about this spot is that there's tiers. So like if you consider this is like the elevation tiers, too many elevation tiers. And I'm not talking about crybabies, right? I'm talking about tiers. Like this is the highest point up in the mountains, right? Because of the trees, you can't really look down at the houses. So you have to go down the mountain, okay? Boom, now you can start to engage across the street at these houses. But because these houses are higher elevated, like you have to go a little bit farther to see these houses. Unless you're at one of these houses and you're firing from the rooftop to one of those. I like the interaction between these two sets of buildings or whatever. But then when you get to this set, like you can't see what's below unless you jump out and commit to this hill. You can't see what's below this street unless you jump out to the street and and then continue to go all the way down the beach. There's too many tiers of elevation, hard tiers, not like a nice smooth hill that goes all the way straight down. Like I'm talking cliff, you don't know what's on the other side, so you have to go to the edge of the cliff to look down, you go to that.
I love being the best.
What's this play FIFA kid saying in the chat? Huh? What's he saying? Is he flapping his gums? All right. Let's get rid of him. I know he doesn't get too much attention at home. No wonder his grades are D- grades and he gets to use the iPad all day long because his parents don't know anything about discipline. All right. What else? Firing range. Firing range is
I love being the best.
Firing range is a lot of fun. Firing range is a lot of fun. I don't know whether I like the cornfields or not surrounding it, right? Because behind it you have people that are up the mountain. So if they're firing at you, it's gonna be a tough push to push this way or to push behind, especially if they're up there. You know, they're behind the tree cover. They got the vertical advantage. So you know you can engage with them, but you're kind of at a disadvantage if you're fighting, like for the most part. So the only other way is to push out this way, and then you're pushing out into open fields with barns of people staring. And I haven't had any issues with it. I think it's a lot of fun coming out of firing range. It poses a pretty fun challenge, to be honest with you. And it's very unique. It has its own characteristics, personality, flavor. I'm just not sure if there's additional, if there's any additional cover elements, larger cover elements that should be set up around firing range, specifically west and north. I don't know. This is me really nitpicking, you know what I mean? Like this whole, like what I'm telling you guys, it's I think they've done a fantastic job. I just think the weakest part is this part of the map right here. I guess this is the major, like the three major points. 3 major points I'm gonna make. If I were to have issues with it. 3 major points, I'll do them in 3. Boom, this area of the map, I think it's too samey. Not unique enough for me. Okay, number 1. Number 2, I think there's an opportunity to do something with this choke point right here. Make it bigger, better, stronger, fun, right? Maybe like a tower or 2 on this side and a tower on this side. You got some cross sniping going on. I think there's too many elements that hide the potential of cross sniping across that river. You know, usually it's like, okay, boom, they sneak in, they're in the water, they're on the other side, right? Now you're having a close range combat. How do we introduce a little bit longer range combat across the river right here? Medium range. I think there's a big opportunity to spice this area up. That's number 2. And then number 3, all the tiers of elevation right here. And I say that because a lot of the ending circles have gone here. They tend to go right here. And that kind of gets a little, I don't know, a little bland. But outside of that, I think everything else is just really, really solid. Those are my 3. Boom. Mystical Intel, thank you for the $25 donation. I know you didn't get to play after they added the boss to Asylum that drops good loot. How do you feel about that? And would be interested to have the boss hard set somewhere or moving around randomly? No random. Eliminate any as much randomization as possible, please. I like that. I love their idea of having a boss at Asylum, and we know that that's where it's at. And you can get some loot there if you choose to do so. Love it. It's isolated. It's perfect. It's right there. Don Invictus, thank you for the $5. A. Becker, welcome. Num Coke, thank you for the $3. Do you think they should make Black Ops 4 Battle Royale a standalone game and mode on the Battle.net client and cost $20 to $30, or maybe make it free to play and just have cosmetics to support the game? I don't know, but I'm going to change it to Call of Duty Black Ops. Since we're talking about Call of Duty, let's get into Call of Duty. Lord Pegasus Sigma, thank you for the 10. Greetings from Switzerland. Thank you for that $10. It's Nasha. Thank you for the 10. Do you think adding a new point of interest to the south of Turbine and east of Factory could help fill out that side of the river and maybe grow out Factory slightly south? Thoughts? You know, what they have out here are some like big, huge rock elements and curvy hills. Like, I feel like this area, I feel like it's okay. I feel like it's okay because it's almost like these curvy mountains and these big, huge rocks and boulders that are sticking up. That's part of the characteristic of that area. And maybe like you might be onto something, maybe having like a smaller structure, almost like an asylum size structure kind of in the middle, you know, whether it's like more close to the turbine or closer to the factory, right? Maybe like even like a real small one and then a counter one that's real small over here. So like having like two small ones. I think that would be pretty cool to spice up this area even more. But I think this one has its own personality. I think I'm more concerned on this whole side of the map in its entirety. Is it unique enough? You know, like if you start running from right here and you just go straight down, it'll probably feel like you're running through the same thing for most of the time. Everett, thank you for the 5. I love the wingsuit mechanic of Blackout and pace of descent when dropping in. Drop times BGB added to already long lobbing queues, and it takes forever to get back into the action. That's one thing they should take a look at too, is drop height for the suit. I think they could take a look at that, at least. Revisit that height. I feel like the height for it is too high in order to activate the wingsuit. It actually makes me think. It actually makes me think how they actually did the wingsuit. I don't think the wingsuit's on a set height. I think you actually, I don't know, I could be wrong, man. I feel like you go through a player trigger that they've set up on certain roofs, certain areas that when you go through that player trigger, actually activates the suit if you jump. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe it is a set height, like a set amount of units for it to activate. But I swear, man, there's certain areas where I feel like it's super high up. Just as high, if not higher, than some areas where I've activated the suit and it does not activate.
I love being the best.
Almost like almost like mantling, like you for the Call of Duty engine, like you set up mantle triggers, right? And you put them all across the edges where you want players to be able to mantle up on. You put them on windowsills, you put them on cars or static objects, rocks, etc. You have to manually do that, unless it's a prefab that already has it built in, which I'm sure they're using a lot of prefabs in this game. Reusable prefabs. Arcane does, thank you for the 10. So the return will be fantastic, like your wingsuit. Oh yeah. Vegu, thank you for that 10. Vegu, thank you for the 10. Did you see an issue with Black Ops 4 not having a standalone title and being part of a series? For instance, the Call of Duty is multiplayer exclusive, so they could have just called this Call of Duty Blackout. Whatever they do, it doesn't matter how they lay it out. Like, I don't really care about how they market it. I don't care how they package it. Just as long as it exists and there's new content added to it and they support it. I don't care if it's standalone, if it's separate, if it's $60 or $650. Here's the thing. So, like, I knew what the Call of Duty engine was. I knew its limitations. I knew the potential of it. And at my time of departing the franchise as an extremely handsome and gorgeous and talented and super duper creative level designer, right? Legendary, right? Like Solar, Recovery, Ascend. I mean, I could list all the maps, and I will continue to list all the maps right now, right? Site 211, the clown map, right? You know what I mean? I could go on and on and on. All right, Liberty Island. Anyways, I knew the potential of the engine, and the engine at that time, it was put together by tape, stapler. You pass my stapler? Someone have my stapler? Right? There's no way. Blackout, the scale at what they did it, the optimization in which they've done it, how well it plays, I was like, no way. If you would have told me then, I would have said, no way it could happen. Moving platforms. We couldn't even get moving platforms in our multiplayer maps at the time for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, because we tried. So with that said, I don't know where the limit is on the engine now. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like the sky's the limit if they're able to do all this stuff, which is fantastic. I'm so glad that there's I have no idea the limitation of the engine. None. It feels like this thing is it's a powerhouse, man.